When did you first become aware of activism that was going on in the country on behalf of civil rights for blacks?
I was mostly learned, it hit me really strong when I was in my last year of college and I heard about the sit-ins in the South and people being arrested. And I was bowled over by it, thinking about it. And I think it was at that time that I decided that I was probably going to go south and do something. Although at the time, the freedom rides hadn't started yet. Or they did start just before I graduated, but I really became aware earlier that year and began thinking about it a tremendous amount.
Mm. What do you think appealed to you about?
It was the justice of, the injustice of the of segregation and the fighting for justice that was going on. And it was, to be honest, it was that, but it was also longing for adventure. That was really a part of it for me, because I've always been aware that a lot of people could have wanted to take part in this, but they could have gone to the NAACP and stuffed envelopes. But I don't know, I just had to have adventure. Plus I believed in it being the right thing to do.
Do you think that the timing of when this occurred in your life, it was your senior year, 1961, at Smith College, correct? So it was a transitional moment in your life. You were graduating from college, and this was a time when, for many women, they would go to college looking for a husband, for an MRS degree. So, were you aware of those kinds of callings for women, and how did you feel about it? How did that play into this, do you think?
Well, it's true that when I went to college, women didn't have the same kind of careers they have now, and a lot of people were looking for marriage. And it's not that I wasn't, but I think that it really was hearing about the sit-ins and the passion of it that really made me think a lot about it. And it wasn't that I didn't have anything else to do. I probably would have gone home for the summer and looked for a job, and whatever would have happened, but that just really called to me, and I made that decision. It was really difficult for my parents because they were very worried about me. I had asthma as I was growing up, and I think they knew the outcome of this was undeniable, that I would go to jail. And I think they were terrified and tried a lot of ways to keep me from going, not because they didn't think it was a good thing to do, but because they were very frightened, and I can understand that. But basically, I just did it anyway.
Can you describe how you first got involved with the Freedom Riders?
I went to New York to the core office, the Congress of Racial Equality, where James Farmer was the head of that, and talked to the people there. And
this was June, right, of 1961?
It was either June or early July. I don't even remember the exact date that I went. The people at the core office kind of got me hooked up with the Freedom Riders. I ended up taking a bus to Atlanta, Georgia, and hooking up with a group of integrated people, and getting on a bus with them, traveling along the southernmost edge of the country into Jackson, Mississippi, where we knew we would get arrested. And that was actually the point of it. The point was to fill the jails with basically innocent people who were doing the right thing, and then the press would take it up and the whole country would get up in arms, and it would change the way things were done there. At the time, it was even illegal to go into the white waiting room with a black person. That's what we did. We took a bus across the South into Jackson, Mississippi, where we went into the white waiting room as an integrated group, and we were arrested for disturbing the peace. And we weren't the first group to do that. And there were others after us too, but everybody was sent to jail. And we had 40 days to appeal our case. If you didn't appeal your case within 40 days, you lost your right to appeal at all. So the decision was to stay in jail for 39 days, try to fill the jails, and appeal out at the last minute, which is what we all did.
Can you go back a little bit? I just want to try and get some more sense of what it felt like to you as you were boarding that bus with this group of people. Who were the people? And can you just describe the scene and what it felt like to you, what you were thinking about?
I wasn't scared. And the reason I wasn't scared was because I was so young. And I thought I was invincible.